Hey, Kyle Michael here with Michael Real Estate and Remax Momentum, and I'm actually starting a new series called Sip and Support. Sipping for a cause through supporting local and making an impact monthly. Hey, monthly, we're gonna be touching base with a local nonprofit, sitting at a local establishment, kind of just reaching out to them and seeing what they're all about. I'm here today with...
I'm Eric Haave with EvenKehl.
Perfect, and we're actually at Satire Brewing over here in Thornton, Colorado. They do have 2 locations. Right now, I'm trying out one of their pumpkin beers, and Eric's got
I've got the Monkey Spank.
Perfect, yeah. Great community location over here for Satire. They're a phenomenal establishment, definitely supporting the community in all aspects. But let's talk about Eric, or with Eric, and talk about EvenKehl. Hey, what is EvenKehl?
Yeah, so EvenKehl is a local nonprofit, really designed for law enforcement. So we really are focusing on the Denver metro area. So when officers are critically injured in the line of duty, suffer a critical illness, things like heart attacks, strokes, or cancers, even illnesses that we can't see, like mental illnesses, we're there to provide financial support for them and their families, the officers' families. Immediately, I kind of see EvenKehl as kind of a first responder of nonprofits specifically tailored for law enforcement here in the Denver metro area.
Perfect. Now, you started EvenKehl. Why did you start it? When did you start it? Kind of tell us a little bit about the history of it.
Yeah, so EvenKehl, we really started EvenKehl back in the end of 2020. We really got going and got all the legal entities around it of the nonprofit. And I started it. We all have these moments in our lives that really significantly impact us, both good and bad. And for me, one of those moments was when one of my longest and closest friends, Mike Kehl, took his own life. Mike was a deputy for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office here in Colorado. And after he took his own life, well, I knew I had to help. So Mike was a deputy for almost over a decade, and he was actually working a SWAT call. And while he was working that SWAT call, he was actually breaching a door, and he ended up breaking his back. And little did he know at that time the huge ramifications that would have on his life and all the people's lives that were really close to Mike. So really what happens in law enforcement, I learned after his injury, is they don't have the support that they might think they have. So Mike, he broke his back, and they wanted him back on the street as cost effectively as possible and as fast as possible, but it might not be the best means for that officer. So he actually ended up getting surgery, but workers' comp didn't pay for that because they did physical therapy and rehab. Turned into a huge financial issue for him, and also led to other illnesses and battles with alcohol and pain pills, and ultimately led to him taking his own life. So I knew if that happened to him, other officers were going to be in the same position, and law enforcement has a huge piece of my heart. My fiance is in law enforcement, and I knew I wanted to never see somebody go through that again, so I founded EvenKehl.
So you talked about kind of him having those bills pile up and things like that. What does EvenKehl do for those people? How do they access the funds when they're reaching out to you? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so EvenKehl, we're a nonprofit. So when officers are critically injured in the line of duty, much like Mike was, or if they have critical illnesses, heart attacks, strokes, cancers, heart attacks in law enforcement are a huge thing that they don't take care of themselves like they should, and they really serve the public. And those bills can be huge. So when those incidents happen, we want to help them as soon as possible. So oftentimes other police officers come to us. Law enforcement officers are very prideful, and they don't want the help even though they might need it. So oftentimes the community reaches out to us, other law enforcement people, wives, that sort of thing, and they let us know what's going on, and then we kind of figure out how much we can give them and get that money to them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about giving them the money. Where does your money come from? What events do you have that people can support? Where can people support in that way?
Yeah, so our big event, we're a fairly new nonprofit, but our biggest event every single year is our golf tournament. We have a charity golf tournament here in Westminster, Colorado. That's our biggest event. That's in May of every year. And then we have some smaller events that we've partnered with some nonprofits or gyms, other gyms around this area, lots of CrossFit gyms. But our big staple fundraiser is that golf tournament for sure. And then everything with Facebook and random donations through that and smaller events throughout the year. But we've been able to raise close to $60,000 in just a couple of years and given back thousands of dollars.
That's awesome.
So we're pretty pretty proud of that so far for sure.
Yeah, and so if people need those funds, did they reach out to you specifically, or how do they go about doing that?
Yep, so we've got we have a website where you can nominate an officer for those funds and kind of let us know what's going on. But oftentimes they just reach out directly to me. They know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Law enforcement is huge in my life. I mean, it's all around me. So I'm tied into close to a dozen different departments around here. So reaching out to me directly, going onto our website, EvenKehl.org, letting us know what's going on, and we'll get you those funds as fast as possible for those officers and families.
That's awesome. You know, people are tight right now. Is there any other way they can help out? Can they reach out to you, maybe help out with the golf tournament? Is that a possibility? What other ways can people help out?
Nonprofit work is extremely hard. It's very rewarding, but very hard. So we're always looking for help, new ideas for new events, new places to do events at, help with the golf tournament, help finding people to play in the golf tournament, or contributing door prizes, that sort of thing. That goes a long ways just to get more people in the door to those events. And any help we can get, by all means. And people who just know police officers. I want them to know what we do and why we do it. So there's tons of officers that I've never met, obviously. So if you know police officers, I would just love to have a conversation with them and let them know what we're doing and why it's so important to me and our community for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason for doing these videos is we're trying to spread kind of what EvenKehl is all about, but where can they find you outside of maybe a website? Are you on Facebook, social media? Where can they find you?
Yep, so we're on Facebook and Instagram, and then our website, EvenKehl.org. So it's EvenKehl for Mike Kehl's last name. But those are great resources to kind of reach out to us and through our website or social media for sure.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to tell us about EvenKehl? Got anything else?
No, I appreciate you, Kyle, for sure, giving me this opportunity and sharing why it's so important to me and why it's so cathartic having EvenKehl and supporting our local officers for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this is a new series we're starting up once a month. If you have a nonprofit you'd like to kind of recommend to us, feel free to do that. Sip and support. Once again, Kyle, Michael Real Estate.
And Eric Haave with EvenKehl.
Cheers, man.